Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Adam Burke from BangTheBook.com coming to you with the Monday mashup video. And look, the biggest game in town tonight, Clemson taking on Alabama. That will be the discussion here on this Monday mashup video. We got a lot of great discussions, a lot of great things going on over at BangTheBook.com right now, including my preview for tonight's game and a list of some game and player prop betting picks that I'm looking at for tonight's action. We're still covering the NBA and college basketball over there, including a new daily article from Kyle Hunter. Still covering the NHL. Parker Michaels doing a great job with that. We've got that daily picks piece up over there as well. And I'm working through writing previews for the divisional round games in the NFL playoffs. Opening line report already up, and I'll have the 4-game previews done here today, as well as a golf preview for the Sony Open in Hawaii, my situational betting articles for the NBA and NHL, and Kyle Hunter will have a college basketball situational betting article. Danny Vorgs will have NFL power ratings later on in the week. We'll have some more NFL weekend stuff for you, like the market watch and system picks and pick of the week. We got a lot of great stuff going on over at BangTheBook.com. Please check it out on a daily basis. Free pick contests over there as well. Good opportunity for you to get involved, win some cash prizes, and especially if you're a novice or a rookie handicapper, very easy for you to get involved there without putting any skin in the game. Free pick contests, sign up with your email address. We'll send you our daily newsletter, but you'll have the chance to win some cash prizes over there. All right, let's chat national championship game. Clemson and Alabama. Third time in 4 years for the title. Fourth time in 4 years that these two teams play as part of the college football playoff. Before I get into some betting specifics here, I just want to talk about, I have no idea how people can say that they have Clemson versus Alabama exhaustion. These are the two best teams in college football. Obviously, as we found out in the semifinals, nobody really comes close. And this is what I want. This is the game that I want to see to decide a national champion in college football. I want the two best teams, an Alabama team that at parts throughout the season was the highest power-rated team I've ever had, and Clemson, the only team that was ever really all that close to Alabama. So this is the game that we deserve. This is the game that we should get. And I'm definitely looking forward to watching a lot of future Sunday players, two of the best coaching staffs in college football, and a couple of the best quarterbacks in college football as well here. So this is the game we should all want. This is the game that we should deserve. Is it hard for other fan bases? Yes, and as an Ohio State fan, I certainly understand that. But also, Ohio State hasn't been worthy of being in this position over the last couple of years. Maybe things change next year, but you know, to quote Ric Flair, to be the man, you've got to beat the man. And Clemson and Alabama are the men right now in the college football world. So this is the game that we are supposed to see, and I'm very excited to watch it tonight. You've got Clemson a 5.5-point dog. Total on this game continues to go down. It's in the 56.5 range now. Certainly sharp money coming in on that. You're not going to find a whole lot of public bettors rooting for an under here in this game. So the sharp side, definitely the under. And it appears that the sharp side, Clemson as well, though not to the same degree that it was earlier on in the week. We did have some places open this line north of 7 or have some look-ahead lines north of 7 in the 7.5 or 8 range. Those numbers were gobbled up very, very quickly. Any stray 6.5 or 6 has pretty much been eaten up by sharp bettors as well. Now we're just sitting there in the 5.5 range. As far as I'm concerned, this is a very sharp line. From a power rating standpoint, I had it Alabama minus 4.5. I think the total is in a pretty good range. I'm a little bit surprised at how low it's gotten now. With the very prolific and explosive offenses that these two teams have. Clemson and Alabama, second and third in yards per play in the country, trailing only Oklahoma. You had an Alabama team that led the country in yards per attempt. You had a Clemson team that was up there among the country's leaders in rushing yards per carry. You've got two very, very good offenses here, but you also have two pretty solid defenses. Clemson does statistically have the better defense, and quite frankly, from a talent standpoint, Clemson probably has the better defense overall here. So the fact that the total is coming down on this game, to me at least, is a good sign for Clemson Tigers backers. I think you'd rather have a tighter, lower scoring game if you want a Clemson ticket, simply because of the passing game explosiveness of Alabama. Clemson had a lot of explosive running plays. Obviously, the offense was a lot different once Trevor Lawrence took over. But Clemson, very explosive on the ground. Alabama, very explosive through the air. I would think that a lower scoring game would help Clemson in this situation. As far as a play on the side of the total, if I had to play something, I would take Alabama in this spot. Mostly because when you look at the teams that have the blueprint for beating Alabama, they have a true dual threat quarterback running that spread offense. Up to this point, we haven't seen Trevor Lawrence run the football a whole lot. Very, very good passer. Haven't seen him run much. That being said, I do think that one of the best prop betting options tonight is Trevor Lawrence over 14.5 or some places over 15.5 rushing yards. I think he has to run the football a little bit here today. I think he has to look to open up some of those passing lanes by appearing to be a threat to run the football. I would expect him somewhere in the 20 to 25 range in terms of rushing yards. I think it's just something that Clemson has to put into the repertoire tonight, whether it's a zone read thing to sort of give Travis Etienne maybe some more one-on-ones out in space, or like I said, just to open up some of those throwing lanes. I think Clemson does have to tell Lawrence, hey, look, as I talked about with Thor Nystrom today on Bang the Book Radio, if you are standing in the pocket and you don't see anybody open, go ahead and get what you can. Get a few yards, make those third down situations a little bit more manageable, give us a little bit of a field position edge if it's third and long, something like that. I think Lawrence will be instructed to run the football a little bit more here as opposed to forcing a throw or taking a sack or something like that. So I do think that's a big part of the offense for Clemson tonight, at least relative to what it has been throughout the season. So I do like Trevor Lawrence rushing yards over here in tonight's game. Also, if you find a rushing attempts prop, I would like that over as well. Tua Tagovailoa, over completions. I've seen 21.5. I've seen 22.5. I think both of those are safe plays here tonight. I think the big thing for Alabama is they need to run with tempo. They need to try and neutralize that Clemson defensive line. They ran with a little bit of tempo against Oklahoma, and it wound up getting guys lost in space. Easy pitch and catch for Tua when he had those situations. I think they should do the same tonight against Clemson. Keep Clemson from substituting those guys out. If you run with tempo, force Clemson to take timeouts to sub guys, or force guys to play tired at the line of scrimmage. The hope, of course, for Alabama would be to create some of those open throwing lanes and maybe wear Clemson down a little bit to get the running game going in the second half. So I like Tua pass completions over 21.5, the best line I've seen out there. I like over 22.5 as well. I think it's just one of those things where Alabama's probably not going to have much success running the football. To move the football, they're going to use Tua to do it, and he can make a lot of throws. He's got a lot of speedy guys that can get open. Maybe they're not the most physical crop of Alabama receivers, but on those drag routes, on those slants, crossing patterns, mesh routes, all that type of stuff, he will find windows to throw to guys. And also, too, when you've got a very fast and skilled defensive line, you want to tire them out, make them go sideline to sideline. So some pop passes, some swing passes, things of that sort. Cheap completions there for Tua that way. I like Tua over completions here in tonight's game. Another one that's a little bit chalky, and there's only some places that have this prop out there. All touchdowns scored by the offense. I saw it in the minus 180 range. Another way this is worded is, will there be a defensive or a special teams touchdown? Usually the no in the minus 200, minus 210 range. I do like the no, or yes, the offense scores all the touchdowns. You've got two quarterbacks here that combined for 8 interceptions during the regular season, only sacked 19 times. They don't make very many mistakes with the football, and so I think it's very hard to get those pick sixes or the strip six. Maybe there's a kick return or a punt return touchdown, but I think both of these coaches pay attention to details so well that from a special team standpoint, both of them should be fine. Both of them should have everything squared away. A lot of touchbacks from Clemson's kicker, Potter. Not as many from Alabama's kicker, but Alabama's kick coverage, not that bad here this season. So I'm willing to take that chance with the minus 180 that all touchdowns are scored by the offense. Or, like I said, some other places will word it, no defensive or special teams touchdowns. I think those are 3 props you can look at here for tonight's game. A lot of prop betting opportunities out there. Individual player props for receptions over, rushing yards over, tackles and assists over. Will the game go to overtime? Will there be a safety? Stuff like that. Basically, an abbreviated Super Bowl props catalog for tonight's national championship game. And look, in theory, this should be the toughest and tightest line of the season, both side and total. you're going to have action on the game. It's the national championship game. We're all going to be watching it. You want some kind of skin in the game. Look at the player and game props catalog, because I think you can find much better betting opportunities, a lot less efficiency in that market. Just think of how you expect the game to go. Think about what the game flow looks like here. Think about what you've seen from these two teams over the course of the season, and I guarantee you'll find some prop betting opportunities to make you some money here in tonight's national championship game. I'll be back tomorrow with my Tuesday 3-pack video. I'll also be back on Bang the Book Radio with Brian Blessing and also Rolf Michaels, so keep an eye out for that. Speaking of Bang the Book Radio, you can find our segments right here on our YouTube page. We're also on iHeartRadio now, as well as Spotify, Spreaker, Stitcher, iTunes, and so on and so forth. So you never have to miss an episode of Bang the Book Radio. And of course, you can get the segments right here after you watch these videos. I'm Adam Burke from BangTheBook.com.